Joining me now, as we've said, tonight's show is a little bit different. We're coming via Skype, and of course the digital era is helping us with that. And joining me now is the president of Western Cape Tennis, Riad Davids. Hello Riad, how are you on that side?
Hey JP, I'm well, man, and thanks for putting this initiative together. I think we need to stay in touch with each other. It might be going the long down, God forbid, much longer than this, and we need to stay in touch with everyone and stay positive.
Riad, the times are very difficult, but it certainly looks like you guys from Western Cape Tennis have not only managed to stay isolated, but you've also managed to stay busy.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the call went out to all 6 districts to say, guys, you have to issue lockdown, 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 stay at home. It needs to come from every angle. We've got to keep reminding each other. And then the other thing to do is to tell ourselves we can now do a lot more admin, we can stay busy, and our athletes can actually stay active and stay fit at home as well. So it's a time for recuperation, a time for self-reflection, but the work doesn't stop.
Riad, have you guys, we know that tennis is of course a passion sport. You've got a great reach across your district structures into your clubs and the members who belong to these clubs. Have you guys taken it from a Tennis South Africa and a Western Cape Tennis perspective to spread the message amongst your members, young and old, about what to do under these conditions?
Yeah, absolutely. So first thing was we convened a risk committee meeting from Tennis South Africa, and we basically put all our staff working from home. We've worked out salary scales for them. We're putting them on leave. We're doing a huge amount of work like that. We've revised budgets, and of course we revisited the calendar. Tennis was one of the first sports that said we're not sending our players to play in Africa. From there, Egypt and Morocco joined us, and then the ITF then came back and said no tennis. And as you heard yesterday, Wimbledon has now been completely postponed. The French Open is pushed to after the US Open. All our Davis Cup and Fed Cup has been stopped. Our clubs, we told them you can't play. We've stopped our season. So we've done a huge amount of work proactively. We, even before the government announced total lockdown, we were proactive within that space to try to get the message out as soon as possible.
Tell us about some of the kids that are out there. What are they keeping themselves busy with at the moment?
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw Roger Federer released a video with him hitting in his backyard in the snow. And that's gone viral. So everybody now wants to be hitting a ball at home, keeping fit, staying fit. And all these stories have helped, because the big stars in tennis, because it's a lockdown, you can't play Wimbledon, you can't play the French Open. These superstars have been pushing out things on what they're doing, and that has, I think, inspired the youngsters to say, well, if Federer is doing it, I'll do it.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Are we finding that the superstars out there are showing their home-based activity with the view to encourage people and make their lives a little bit easier?
I think absolutely, especially in the tennis space, they're really doing that. We even had Djokovic and Federer singing a song together about staying positive and things like that. And that has helped tremendously. But because there's a total lockdown, because everybody the world over is in lockdown, it actually sends a much more positive message to say everybody's in this together and it is serious. Yeah. And in that way, we found that many of the players, many of the youngsters especially are saying, this is actually serious, but we can do a huge amount at home. And that is what they've been doing.
This is, of course, a fantastic opportunity for us to showcase the kids that are out there. Before you came onto the show now, I was on the Skype call to Oudtshoorn, where your counterpart, but in the world of cycling, Corné Bens, who you of course know well, was on Skype with me, and he sent me and he's been doing fantastic with his cyclists that have been really performing at a national level and an international level, similar to your tennis players. And he was sharing with us the home videos of his high performance cyclists on those, I don't know what you call it, but that roller wheel where the cyclists are training at home, and they are training with digital, and some guys are training in their kitchens, some in the gardens with the dogs running around. One guy was training with a lawnmower on his bicycle, pushing the lawnmower around, cutting the lawn. But we've seen some really creative stuff, and of course this is a fantastic opportunity for us now to highlight some of our athletes who are busy training at home and find out who they are and what they're doing and how they're keeping busy?
So as I say, is we must always look at this and say there are opportunities within it. And the many opportunities are tidy up your database, making sure that you as a federation tick all your boxes, but then also keeping the athletes in touch with each other. And maybe also we've got to start sharing stories across the different sports, because as you've told me now about cycling, I'd like to see that, but then I could show them what tennis is doing. And in that way, we also learn more about all the other different sports, because in many ways, we're in isolation. How many people know that we have a junior that's number 12 in the world? How many people know there are, for the first time ever, 2 players from Africa in the top 20 in the ITF world rankings? We've got to know that.
Now we have time to really broadcast as much as we want. And
Absolutely.
I hope that this is an opportunity. Well, we're going to go to some of those players. I know you guys sent us a few videos, so I'm going to show some of that. But in fact, I hope that your sponsors are aware of the fact that tennis is getting more exposure now. Maybe not with a Roger Federer style exposure, but we certainly have a chance now to really expose and talk about tennis in the Western Cape. And I'm looking forward to sponsors not thinking that sport is dead. In fact, sport is now more galvanized than ever before. So I'm hoping Western Cape Tennis is going to get some sponsors knocking on the door tomorrow saying, how do we sponsor you guys and your digital content?
100%.
Yeah. But let's take a look at one of the videos that we sent in here now. You told me that this is Rowan Loubser. Let's take a look at the video, and then I want you to tell me about him. Oh, there we go. I think that looks fantastic to me. Basketball court, obviously a very happy collie dog there chasing a tennis ball.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rowan Loubser is one of 3 of our top juniors. They won the AJC in the regional in Namibia, qualified, won all their matches. And of course, the AJC was now going to take place in Madagascar, but that's put on hold for later in the year.
Just tell us what is the AJC?
It's the African Junior Championship. Right. So what happens is that Africa, with 43 countries divided into 5 zones, we have 12 countries in our zone, which is all the Southern African countries, and of course it includes Mauritius as well. What you do is you zonally qualify, and whichever team qualifies, so the girls qualify individually, the boys qualify individually, and then they go and play the top zones, play against the rest of the zones in Africa, and those top ones then go to the World Championships in China. So it's a very, very prestigious one to actually win your zone and then to try to become the champions of Africa.
And Rowan Loubser, local kid?
Local kid, lives in Pinelands. And you know, if you look at this is one of the very interesting things about this. As you will see in the brace on his right hand, he's injured his right hand. So yeah. He's normally a two-handed backhanded player. So he can't hit on his forehand. He can't do a two-handed backhand. So he's learned to hit as a one-handed backhand. And he's done very well because as fit as that border collie is, he can't even catch one of the balls.
That's incredible for me to hear that as well. As I've never heard of a one-handed backhand player. Sounds anyway. That's great. Let's see where it all goes. But we also have got a clip here that came in from 2 of your junior girls. Let's take a look at this.
I'm Lisa.
Hi, I'm Sinazo.
We are locked down with facilities and we're making full use of it.
And we are thinking of all the athletes out there that don't have the same opportunities.
Well, there you go. Those are 2 of your juniors there. Tell us about them, Riad.
Okay, so Snauzer, she's at the University of Stellenbosch. She's in her 4th year studying. She's an up-and-coming Davis Cup player. She's been an absolutely fantastic junior all her life, and you know, comes from a very, very poor background. Was taken in by a family, the family that you see there. They got her through to a scholarship within the schools in the Paarl area, and then she's on a tennis scholarship at the University of Stellenbosch. Absolutely fantastic role model for everyone, and she's continuing training. when they shut down Stellenbosch, she went to live with the family again. The other girl, Lisa Letmorkel, she's at on a US scholarship. Because of the lockdown, she came home just before the lockdown happened. And the two of them are now spending every day keeping fit and training. The advantage is that the family has a tennis court in the backyard, and that does help. But it's a whole fitness routine, and the two of them at the end of this will be so much the better, stronger. And also what we love about it is it shows the new South Africa in all its glory.
Riad, I think it's incredible. You guys, from a tennis perspective, certainly are showing us some great stuff there, and hopefully these messages pass down to the public to stay isolated, number one, and to, of course, follow all the compliance processes that the authorities have told us, but at the same time also to stay positive.
Absolutely, JP, and thanks very much for this forum. I think we need more of this, and as you say, we must now actually even do more, especially in terms of the communication, get the paperwork out of the way, and let's all stay positive, and when this is over, we're going to be a stronger sport for it.
Yeah, Riad, we're going to leave it at that. Thanks very much for joining us. I know that even though we're under lockdown, you are keeping yourself very busy with tennis administration, and from us here on this side, we send all our best wishes to you and the family. Stay safe. Remember, follow all those precautions, and if we all stick to the rules, hopefully we'll all come out of this somewhat stronger.
Thanks, JP, and thanks to everyone, and stay strong, and let's keep it going.
Thanks, Riad. Right, folks, that's of course Riad Davids there. He is the president of the Western Cape Tennis Federation. They're doing some incredible stuff before the lockdown and now yet again during the lockdown. And just looking to see there how those athletes are spreading the messages. Local athletes doing fantastic, but also the international athletes, the Roger Federers of the world and the Rafael Nadals of the world, sending those messages of support and showing how you can be active at home. And I think being active at home at the moment is absolutely critical to the contribution to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Remember, absolutely important that you stay isolated. Our sports athletes are showing you how. Our sports athletes are leading by example. We look forward to carrying on this conversation with some more interviews. I'll be speaking to Chris Nordia, he's the president of Western Cape Climbing, and I'll catch up with Alton Davids, the chairperson of the Cape Town Sport Council, in a second. We'll take an ad break. We'll be back in a moment.